It's like I lay in the back seat damn near.
Yeah. Plus, you're taller than me. I'm only 6 foot. You're like 6'5", right?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, well, 6'6" actually.
Yeah, so you're way taller than me. So it's like, I feel like I'm a child.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I had to upgrade from the Chrysler and, because otherwise I just need a really big car,
Yeah. My wife says I'm really tall because when she gets in the car, her seat sits here all the way up. I'm like this. I'm like, oh my God, I can't.
It says movie recording starts with movie button. And
oh, let me see.
Yeah. Oh, is that the record button? Or
Yeah,
is
that right there. Yeah. So
okay.
Right now it'd be recording. Now, if it gets difficult, can you see my face?
Yes, I can.
Okay. If it gets difficult, I can mount the suction here, and the camera would just sit here, and you wouldn't have to hold it.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay.
I'll hold it.
All right. Oh yeah. Gotta love that Hemi,
gotta
right?
get that heat up.
Gotta get that heat on for me. And big truck, it's cold. Absolutely cold as hell. That's one of the things I love about the Jeeps. This right here. And the Dodge.
The Durango didn't have a powered...
Oh, it did. It did.
It did?
Yeah, it did. But the older Durango didn't. Like the 2012, the 2013 didn't have it. I like the fact that Dodge has put a lot of thought into features that most people don't think about, like the telescoping steering wheel.
Let me tell you something. They killed, they really killed it. Like, I have an uncle who has the MKS EcoBoost, right?
Yeah.
And he got fully loaded. His mirrors don't come down when I go into reverse. When he goes into reverse, his mirrors do not come down. My mirrors come down. Like Chrysler, Dodge, they have the best infotainment system on the entire market.
Yeah.
None of the Europeans can beat them on that, which is really strange.
Yep.
But they have the absolute best. It's easy to do everything. Everything's so simple,
Oh yeah, no doubt.
They have a great looking interior. I love my Ultra View roof. I love it. Great looking interior.
No, I love how they do the stitching on the dash. They give the telescoping steering wheel, the power seats, power everything, the carbon fiber trim, everything. They just give you like a lot for very little, like suede.
Yeah.
Suede lining on the inside of the A-pillars is something that you only get stuff like this in Ferrari, Lamborghini, Mercedes, Porsche, Audi.
Yeah, and they charge you a hell of a lot for it too.
Like Ford and GM don't give you suede on the A-pillars.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been in a Ford Explorer that had suede.
Me neither.
So, I mean, Jeep has like that kind of stuff that no other brand has in an SUV unless you're paying, like Land Rover might, but then you're talking like $140,000 truck.
Right.
So, $80,000 versus $140,000. I mean, I think you can get this on pretty much any Jeep Grand Cherokee as long as it's an SRT. You just have to add it on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then suede headliner. Like, this is probably a headliner, a quality that you're not going to find in any other American car company. None.
Yeah, no, they did a good job building these cars, because it's like, I've tested that new Lincoln Navigator. I've been in the Escalade. I wasn't that impressed.
Yeah, no,
and they want $100,000. What is it with these car companies? Everybody wants $100,000 for a car now.
Right.
Tesla wants
Right.
Tesla wants 80 and up. They want 140 for a Ludicrous.
Yeah.
Navigators, they want $100,000 for that. They want $100,000 for a Cadillac. Like, did we start making a lot of money suddenly, or what? Like, I don't understand that.
I don't get it. But I tell you what, though, if I had to choose between spending $110,000 or $120,000 on a Land Rover Sport, I would much rather spend $90,000 on a Trackhawk, save $30,000. And be done with it, because
my only thing is, when you start spending that kind of money, like when you're talking about $100,000, like, I'm thinking S-Class,
Yeah.
I'm thinking Mercedes, I'm thinking that I have something extremely luxurious,
Oh, yeah.
So my thing is, Jeep, I think SRT Jeeps, that's the sweet spot, really. I think that's where you could say, okay, I've got everything, I've got this powerful engine. But when you start talking about $100,000, it's like you gotta come with more. You gotta come with more, and you have to have more distinctive looks.
Right.
You just got to do it.
Like I said previously with the Jeeps, you look at this. The base model Jeep SRT is like $70-something thousand. You get 475 horsepower, 470 foot-pound of torque, all-wheel drive. You can add on all this beautiful stuff like the suede A-pillars and the moon roof and carbon fiber trim, and just load it up, and you're still in the $80,000 mark. And you're looking at 0 to 60 times in 3.8 with good launch control. And then you look at the competition. Look at the Land Rover Sport. It does 0 to 60 way slower. It's like in the low 5s, high 4s.
See, I don't want my Trackhawk to look just like that silver one over there. I don't want mine to look. You see that silver one, that silver Jeep that just passed? They all look alike.
Oh, yeah. No, it's that's one thing they should have done with the Trackhawk. They should have made it look a little bit different on the outside. But I do have to give Dodge their props too, and the fact that the only SUV made really in the world that's going to compete with this, you're talking about the X5M. I forget the name of the Mercedes that's now up there with it.
Probably AMG GLE, probably GLE AMG.
And the only one that's even comes close in price, the closest one in price is the X5M, and it's about the same price as the Trackhawk.
Yeah, and that's with nothing in it. And that's the important thing. Dodge, basically, they own the market when it comes to these things. They occupy a segment nobody else can compete in.
There's no SUV made in the world anywhere from the factory, bone stock, that'll even come near a Trackhawk. And if we're talking about price, we're in different universes.
Yeah.
Because the Trackhawk, fully loaded to the max of everything, if you're paying MSRP, is right at 100 or below. And in order to get a Land Rover Sport base model with a V6, you're talking about way up into the 100,000. In fact, I remember talking about the Porsche in my review of the SRT Jeep a long time ago when I did an older review with a buddy of mine, Keith. And the SRT Jeep price range, like I said, $70,000-$80,000 versus the Porsche was $105,000 for 400 horsepower. You have to get the what is it, the Cayenne S Turbo, something like that, $140,000 to get more power than this.
And you end up closer to 160 by the time everything's said and done.
$160,000 fully loaded, and you're only looking at a vehicle that's got 580 horsepower. Get the Trackhawk, save 60 grand, you got 707. Yeah. So when it comes to power and just brute power, there's no way but Dodge.
You can't touch them.
You can't touch Mopar. And I'm going to be honest, the quality of a Jeep's interior is as good as BMW, in my opinion.
Yeah, BMW I'm not impressed with. It's Mercedes I like, but BMW
Mercedes
I'm not impressed with BMW.
The problem with Mercedes is, and see, that's like the nail on the head. You're impressed with Mercedes, and why? This is a Mercedes GL chassis.
Yeah.
The old GL. So we like Mercedes, but they're overpriced. See, Mercedes held back all the goodies from Chrysler in the 90s and the 2000s. When Fiat bought them, now they're FCA, now they've got something else going on where they're taking back all the goodies and putting them back into the Jeeps and the Durangos and the Charger, Challenger. But this was a Mercedes GL chassis, and all the good stuff from the late 90s Mercedes is here with all the goodies that they've given us for the Jeep. So essentially we're getting a Mercedes with American power at a price of an American vehicle. And no one can compete with that because the roots of this vehicle comes from ancient Mercedes tech, which is still good. So that's why BMW can't touch this. Like, there's no way I would take an X5M over a Trackhawk. There's no way.
No way.
I would never take an X5M over an SRT because I could just put a supercharger in this. I'm still cheaping out 80 or 40 grand, 50 grand.
Yeah. I get told that all the time. Oh yeah, an X6M will leave you beaten and this, that, and other. I'm like, yeah. Well, when you find $160,000 or something, you call me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No, they'll never. They're never going to be able to hit the market like Dodge has. They're never going to be able to get that market because the market's already been like swallowed up. When it comes to SUVs, I think Dodge owns the market.
Yeah.
They got the Trackhawk, they got the SRT Jeep Grand Cherokee, they now got the SRT Durango, and I could really go as far as to say they now got the Stelvio. So they're taking the European market too. So FCA and Alfa Romeo are really pounding the SUV market.
Yeah.
They're taking it into a level that no one can really compete. And there's gonna be a lot of people on these videos say, oh, well, the X5M does this, or my like you said, GL class AMG, or this, that, and the other, my Porsche Cayenne Turbo. And sure, we can talk about all those things, but we're talking about vehicles that have double the price.
Yeah.
So no, I mean, if I really want to be smart and go really, really fast, I'm going to get a Trackhawk, do a pulley, do a tune, do an intake, do an exhaust. I'm going to lower it a little bit. There you go. I've got $4,000 a mod, so I've got a $105,000 truck that's running 9s. Touch that, BMW. I'd love to see you touch that.
Yeah.
You can't touch this.
Or get a car with 707 horsepower for $70,000. Yeah, let's see you try that.
Yeah, let's see BMW try to put out a car for less than $75,000 that's got 700 horsepower, and on top of that, let's see them put out a car that can withstand 1,200 horsepower before it blows.
Oh, and even better, let's see them fit 5 people in it.
Yeah, 5 people, 700 horsepower. I'm going to put a pulley and a tune on it. I'm going to be running 900 crank all day long with 5 people in the car, running low 10s, high 9s. And I'm doing all that with mods and everything out the door for less than 80 grand. I'd love to see that.
All right, you want to mount?
Yep, I'll mount.
Yeah, I'm going to keep rolling on this one with 4K.
Oh, yeah.
Does it automatically, uh-oh. How about that?
Oh, you know what I'm going to do here? I have to set it like this for now. Just till I spin it. I got to get the hole first. There we go. Maybe I'll lower it just a little bit. Oops.
Or what if you set it, the suction cups here?
I could, yeah.
Yeah, that would be better.
Unless you don't, do you want to be in it or no? Or just your voice?
Nah.
Okay.
Or why not right here? Like, you could suction cup right there so you can watch your, your forward, because it'll be low enough where it'll see the road.
I could mount a GoPro up there too.
Which one makes more sense?
Probably the GoPro because it's smaller.
Right.
But let me see. There we go. Once I get this thing mounted.
Okay. Either way.
But these suction cups are. I'll probably take.
Because I'll tell you, if and when if I build a race car, I would love to set up something like that. Because I always kind of thought that was cool how Cadillac. They have like a camera right here in the pillar, and then they have one up front, and you can get your SD card right here. I thought that was awesome. I hope Dodge does that.
Yeah, that's what I wish they would have done with the Charger Hellcat.
Like, could you imagine if like you had a camera like right here that oversees your shoulder? I guess maybe right here in the B pillar is probably a better place for it. Like right here, and then right there in the bumper. That would be so cool.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. 100%.
I would pay extra for that package. That would be cool. And this way you just have your SD card in there and it just automatically records your drives and telemetry. I would love that.
Yeah, that would be fucking sick, especially if they embedded it into the SRT pages somehow.
Yeah.
That would be even more sick. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to do a test record to make sure it can see me. Let's see how that looks. Okay. This is a neat little device, right?
Yeah.
This is what it can see right now.
Cool.
Yep, it can see us both. I can cut you out if you want or leave you in. It's up to you. Personally, it doesn't matter to me, whatever you're more comfortable with. But if we're talking...
I'm recording the whole process. You can cut that part out, but I'm recording the whole process just so people who don't know how to set up a YouTube channel, like for cars, like they'll see, oh yeah, well, if I get a camera and I get all this stuff, it's like I can set it up. Because do you know Cassidy CGP? She started a YouTube channel.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
She can't drive yet. Or at least I don't think she can really drive yet. But once she gets her, the ability to drive, I know she was into SRT and she wants to do racing videos and all that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, it's the thing with YouTube videos is you want to be able to give people not only the quality but the content. So you have to be able to present, talk to them. You got to be able to tell them stuff. Like I was watching your video on my Hellcat. And I love your passion, like when you're laughing, like get it, haha, and you're like laughing, and
right.
You're talking smack about people, but doing it in a way that even the people you're talking smack about would still laugh.
Yeah,
they're like, oh damn, he got me, he's right. But yeah, we're driving big trucks Jeep. Gonna have to make a weird U-turn here because Jersey and their stupid U-turns.
Yeah, these places crazy. So what, is there a law against U-turns here or something?
Yeah, in New Jersey, you're not allowed to turn left anywhere. It's illegal to turn left unless you're at a green light that says you can turn left.
I didn't know that.
No left turn, illegal.
I did not know that.
Oh, he's turning left for the cop.
Uh-oh.
What did? And he let him go.
What?
He let him go. What?
See, that's privilege right there, because I would have pulled his ass right over.
Wow.
So he could have talked that sovereign citizen nonsense, and then I would have pulled him out and beat him up.
It says no left turn. That cop's definitely going to get something to eat. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
He's going to get something to eat, guaranteed.
All right, well.
I'm definitely not making a U-turn because I might be the guy that he says, you know what, it's the second time, forget this.
I didn't know there was a anti-U-turn law. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. In New Jersey, you can't make a left turn unless you're at a stoplight that says designated.
Can't pump your gas, can't turn left.
Have you seen the designated U-turn locations?
No.
You come up an intersection, you got to go around
I
right,
kinda noticed,
come all the way back, and then go back the other way, yeah.
That's tyranny to me.
Oh, yeah.
That's tyranny. I'm from liberal New York.
New York, U-turns are legal. You just got to, watch what you're doing.
Yeah, you just got to not have that no U-turn sign and you're good.
Yeah. But see, in New York, you can't turn right on red anywhere. But in New Jersey, you can turn right on red. So it's the stupid stuff. Like, how are you supposed to know all this stuff?
Well, and I guess because, sometimes I actually think about it, a left turn is statistically the most dangerous maneuver. Oh, here comes another one. All these silver Jeeps. It must have been a sale. Jesus Christ. I don't know. Did you ever see that video where I was surrounded by like 5 of them?
Oh,
I was on the highway just randomly, and there was like 5.
Was that the one that you were driving like over by BQE or something? Like
Probably.
Yeah, maybe.
Southern state.
Yeah, I think maybe. And you were ranting about I think your Trackhawk and Jeep SRT you were talking about.
Probably.
Yeah, it's probably the video. I think I did see that.
Yeah, because I don't want my cars to look like anybody else's.
No, that's definitely a goal of mine. That's why I got the carbon fiber on the gas cap and the hood, and just the wing and not the
This
whole
guy's
roof.
moving.
But see, what the thing is with Dodge, big trucks SRT is fully loaded, so it has absolutely every single option you could possibly imagine having. There's nothing left to add to this except the TVs, but I don't really care about TVs. I'm sure you don't. That's why I don't have it. But the SRT Jeeps are pretty much the most affordable, go fast, fun package SUVs you can buy next to the Durango. The Durango is priced, I think, a few $1,000s less, but then it really comes down to, do you want a Jeep or a Durango? You have a choice.
You need that third row.
Yeah.
I really think that's the ultimate question. Do I need a third row?
That's really the ultimate question. And then aesthetics may play a little part because, both vehicles look great, but there's always going to be that one person that says, hey, the Jeep's better. Oh, hey, the Durango's better. But you know what? You're both Mopar. They're both great. Pick the one that you like better and go for it. Mm-hmm. And the more people support Dodge by buying these vehicles, the more they're going to keep giving us what we want. Because they're the only company that's giving us what we want right now. So that's the one reason that's making me really want a Trackhawk, is because I want to keep staying with Dodge. But with the GT500 video I put out the other day, maybe I jumped too fast, but I don't know. I don't think I'm selling the Hellcat for it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I want to keep a Mopar in my channel because I love what Dodge is doing, and the Jeep has been in my family for a long time. Me and my wife have had 3 Jeeps. So if I got a Trackhawk, it'd be our 4th Jeep in 8 years. We had a 96 Grand Cherokee, we had a 99 Grand Cherokee, and we had a 15 Grand Cherokee. And then we had the Durango, and could have a Trackhawk. Mm-hmm. So I love the comfort of riding in this one.
The competition air suspension adds a lot.
This is a different feel than the Jeep SRT I reviewed. It's totally different. It feels different.
What year was the one you reviewed?
17.
Was there mods on it, like drops, bags, or anything?
Nope, but it was stiffer. Yours rides a little bit more comfortable.
Okay.
Because it had track mode, sport mode, and street mode, but the street mode felt like my Hellcat, whereas this doesn't feel like my Hellcat. This feels like it's a little bit more forgiving. Not like riding on complete air, but it feels like this is just a little bit more relaxing. Mm-hmm. It's got a really nice suspension on it, and that's the one thing we talked about last time with the Jeeps was we couldn't figure out why did Dodge do what they did to the Jeep owners. 2012, 13, 14,
they should have
15.
never made those SRTs that came out in 12 and 13. They should have never made them.
Yep.
And they knew and that's what scares me about the Trackhawk.
Yep.
It's possible that for 2 years that they could have an in-between model.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now you get the Ram 1500's big 12-inch touchscreen, and now you're stuck with the old one. It's like that.
Right.
They say fools rush in.
Right.
It's like I don't. It's like I'm not feeling that because I don't want to turn around and say, oh yeah, well now you can't trade out. You're stuck.
Yeah, and knowing Dodge, they'll do even worse than that. Introducing the 2020 Trackhawk
with the Demon engine.
Yeah, or you get the new touchscreen from the Ram. So now you get the bigger touchscreen. Also, different from the older Trackhawks. Now you're going to get 750 horsepower. You're also going to get a smaller pulley size, a better intake system. The exhaust is now going to be louder. The chassis tweaked. It's 100 pounds lighter. Oh, kill yourself.
Yeah.
You just bought the old Trackhawk, and now the new one's got all kinds of shit that's better.
The mere fact that the high-octane fuel button exists, like, I want one.
Oh, it's on the Trackhawk?
Yeah. Like,
oh, my God.
You think about it, they basically using that same engine block over and over. They got the strengthened supercharger. They've got, now they have an all-wheel drive system that can handle 707 horsepower and 650 plus pound-feet of torque.
Right.
So what's to stop them from saying, you know what, we're going to give everything demon power now, and we're going to put the high-octane button in it, and we're going to get these people to rebuy all of this stuff over again. And they could do it, and they will. The likelihood that they would do it, if they've got a wide-body Challenger, if they have a wide-body Challenger and they got a wide-body Charger coming, you know, it's like that's just their marketing strategy, you know.
Like, for example, another prime example of an automotive failure from Chevy is the Tahoe. Number one, the Tahoe, in my opinion, is absolutely beautiful.
I heard it beep. What'd that mean? Did you hear it go beep?
Where did I put my phone? Oh, you know what? My phone.
Phone's right here.
Yeah, it's my. Snapchat. Forget Snapchat.
Oh.
But the Tahoe is a beautiful car,
Yeah.
or a beautiful SUV. They came out with the RST, and it's like, you know, all they did was take SRT and do RST. They just inverted the R and the S, and it only has 425 horsepower. Now, they should have done the LS engine from the Corvette Z06.
The LSA.
LSA, and it would have had 505. Now, if that Tahoe had 505 and had the trim of the RST, oh my God, Dodge would be in a little bit of trouble. Not a lot, but a little bit. Because that's a very, very beautiful truck. The problem is Chevrolet just doesn't think. They thought putting a 425 horsepower engine in a truck that was 200 pounds heavier than the Durango was going to compete with the SRT Durango. Absolutely not. Not even
And
close.
it's also physically a larger truck.
Yeah.
You know, and it also, as you notice, it rides a lot higher. Now, I'm pretty sure there's guys out there who'd like to buy it and everything, but I've said this before in videos, GM and Ford gave up on them.
Yeah.
Because, like, I was really shocked, like, you know, that the CTSV is $100,000
Right.
and only has 650 horsepower. Meanwhile, Dodge is basically selling you ancient engine technology, and they're putting you into the 840 range.
If something ain't broke, don't fix it. Because it's ancient, they figured out a way over the years that it's gotten so well with ancient technology. What's not broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, you don't fix it. It's basically how it goes.
But then the other problem is the average price on an SUV like that is in the 70s now.
Yep.
You know, so for what you'd get buying one of these, you'd get a fully loaded one of those and not have anywhere near this kind of power.
And they wouldn't have this.
Yeah.
Oh, it still gets up and goes. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I would love it.
And you're in automatic mode, like
Right.
when you drop into sport mode, it accelerates quicker out of those gears because it likes to leave you in lower gear and it pulls that power better. I love the automatic. Like everybody told, oh yeah, well, we should have a manual. Let me tell you something. You couldn't control one of these cars with a manual. You just couldn't do it.
Good luck driving a 1,000 horsepower Hellcat or Demon with a manual. Good luck.
You'd strip your gears.
Yeah, no, for sure. You'd be blowing clutches and burn. Most people can't even drive a manual. I've been driving a stick for 17 years now, and even once in a while when I'm driving the Integra, I let off too slow. You burn up a clutch with 1,000 horsepower. Yeah. Once that clutch starts to spin,
second gear, man, that thing's done.
Game over. But maybe I'll switch it over to sport. We're in sport mode now. Maybe get on a little bit here. Oh yeah. Good luck, Chevy. Good luck with that.
Yeah, bye, Chev.
I had to say that because this SUV here, the Jeep is about, I want to say probably about 700 pounds lighter than the Tahoe, maybe 700 pounds, and it's got 100 more horsepower.
So that weighs 6,000 pounds?
The Tahoes weigh about 5,700 to 58.
Wow,
the Durangos,
yeah, that's a lot. Because even the Trackhawk's about 5,400.
Yeah, the Trackhawk's 5,400. Your Jeep is about 5,150.
Okay.
The Durango SRT is about 5,300. So the Durango is only about 100 pounds heavier, but mine didn't have a spare tire. So mine was only about 100 pounds more than the Jeep. So if you think about that, 475 horsepower, 5,100 pounds versus 355 horsepower of that 5.3 in the Tahoe, and it weighs 700 pounds more. So it's 700 pounds more and has like 100 less horsepower or 120 less. So yeah, like you were saying, Chevy just doesn't care about that kind of stuff anymore.
They've given up. If they don't have an engine where that they're able to just take that engine and go from car to car to car, and that's where Dodge has everybody beat.
Right.
They've got transmissions, they can go car to car to car. They've got engines, they can go from car to car to car to car. There's no reason why we shouldn't have a Hellcat 300.
Exactly.
There's no reason. There's no reason at all.
An affordable SUV with Harman Kardon speakers and carbon fiber trim and suede roof and A-pillars and Alcantara leather and suede seats, heated steering wheel, just loaded to every last thing, push button start, 475 horsepower, and you don't even have to know anything about cars. All you do is you hold the brake, floor the gas in launch mode, and let off, and this thing will run 3.80 to 60 every single time.
And they made it so simple.
Yeah, you just basically got to put it in launch mode. You hit the brake, mash the gas, and when you're ready to go, you let off the brake, and this sucker is going to launch 3.8 every single time because it's all-wheel drive and launch mode. Don't make mistakes. So you're going to be running consistent, 0 to 60 times every single time. And that's the one thing I got to give the Jeep Grand Cherokee is it's the most consistent 0 to 60 SUV made until the Trackhawk and Durango SRT came out. And Dodge owns that market too, because even if you get an RST Tahoe, line that up, there's no launch mode in that. You're going to have to mash the gas and hold on for dear life, and hopefully it gets you out of the hole. I mean, there's just no doing it right except Dodge's way right now. Dodge is doing it right, and that's just it. I mean, and that's coming from a guy who's getting ready to buy a GT500, a guy who's got a BMW turbo all-wheel drive. I've had an Evo, I've had a couple of Hondas, I got an Integra. And so anybody who knows my channel knows that I'm not biased, I'm a car guy, but when it comes to brute American muscle like this, we just whipped 70 from 40 in like 3 seconds in a full-size SUV, and it's bone stock. Like, no one does the muscle and gives you the goods like Dodge does. Dodge is giving you huge engines, huge power, and they're saying, hey, you know what? We're going to give it to you at a price that you could afford if you work for it.
Yep.
You don't have to be a millionaire to afford our car. You don't got to pay 150 grand. Your car payment's not going to be $2,500 a month. So, 60, 70 grand, get yourself a nice car, load it up with a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that any other way. I mean, for God's sakes, the Tahoe I just told you about was only got a 5.3 with 355 horsepower, and it's 70 grand. By the time you get the RST, you're at 90 grand or 80, 90 grand, and the thing's only got 425. Dodge was doing 425 in 2007.
Yeah.
Or 2008, 2009. That's when we were doing that with the Mopar.
And I remember back in, I think it was 2002 when Cadillac's CTS-Vs started show up in 2002, 2003.
Yep.
And I used to think, wow, 400 horsepower.
Right.
And then they came back and they had like, what was it, 500 and 550, I think it was.
550, yeah.
550, and then I drove the CTS-V Coupe, and I was like, wow, this thing's incredible.
Right.
Only problem is it was too small.
Yep.
And now, they got the Challenger, the Charger. You got huge cars. You put 5 people in these things or more. Put all these people in them, and you can drive around with a whole family and drop off the kids and then tear up the roads.
Oh, of course.
It's just absolutely incredible.
No, I love it. Like the Escalade in front of us right now. There's no denying that's a gorgeous truck.
Yeah.
Love it. Problem is it's underpowered and overpriced.
Yeah.
Which is what Dodge is. Tim Kuniskis said it best. And this was when he said this, I think, when the Hellcat Charger came. He's like, we heard your cries for help. We know the cars are heavy, and you want more than 485 horsepower in the SRTs. So here's our answer. We're not going to take the weight out because heavy cars ride better. We're going to leave them roomy, leave them big, leave them solid. We're going to make the suspension better so it handles better. And you know what? We're going to give you more power. Why? Because you asked for more power to compensate for the weight. Everyone thought it was going to be 600 horsepower. Well, here's some news for everybody. Tim Kuniskis actually did say from up above, they were told to do the Hellcats at 600. They found out that the Shelby GT500 in 2014 was going to be 662, so they got word, make it more. Just make it more and make it reliable. That's where they came up with the 707, which is underrated. They're more like 730.
Yeah.
So they gave us the power to make up for the weight. So why would I want to have a light vehicle with power, say 600, 662, when I can have a little extra and have a little extra weight? Because weight makes you ride better, hence the reason why these Hondas bounce all over the road, because they're light.
Yeah.
The lighter you are, the more bouncy you are. The heavier you are, the more of a float feeling you have. And that's why I'd rather keep my Charger and sell the Integra maybe, is because I'm going to be honest, I've never ridden in a car that rides as good as my Durango or my Hellcat. My Charger Hellcat rides better than any muscle car I've ever been in. I had a GT500 in 07. The Hellcat's quieter, more comfortable, smoother, handles better in all terrains like snow, rain, and the wet and dry. It's faster, has more power.
Yeah.
And it just, Dodge really did it. When they released the Hellcat, I would like to say that I got a hard-on for it. And I took a ride in it, and my GT500 had 650 horsepower. It was fast, but it had no catalytic converter. It was loud. I had drone in the cabin. It rode like a brick on bricks, like it was riding on nails and bricks. There was like no suspension because it was so stiff to handle, and there's no warranty. So I got rid of all the nonsense and got a Hellcat, which gave me everything the GT500 was and more, and a better ride and everything, with a warranty, by the way, full warranty, and I only got 14,000 miles on it, and it was what, 10 grand more than a GT500? Not even, like 6 grand more. So Mopar all day when it comes to that.
No, absolutely. They can't be competed with. And I just find it like so amazing. It's like the average person at this point is driving around on basically a race car.
Right.
And you got the speed, you got the ability to stop. Brembo brakes on Kias now. I mean, you know, it's incredible. The average person is driving around in a race car.
Yep.
You know, and that's just amazing, and it doesn't cost you a whole lot of money.
Nope.
Where's a nice place to turn back?
I was gonna turn here, but it's too late.
Amazing. There's no left turn signal, or no left turns at all. That's amazing.
That's. We should have turned there, but what I could probably do is turn to the airport.
Stunning with his Chrysler. He's got his nice red Chrysler over there. I miss my Chrysler.
Yeah.
I really do. That was a great car. That's a great car.
Yeah, Chrysler's really stepped up. I'll tell you a car that I would have loved to have seen Hellcat trim in, and there's a chance it's coming not for our market, for the Australian, European market, and that's the Chrysler 300 SRT Hellcat. That would have been, especially if they had done a wide body, and I've leaked those images on my channel before.
If you look at the Chrysler 300, it basically already is a wide body. Like if you see those shoulder flares that they some people say they got it from the Mercedes S-Class 2006, but the Chrysler 300 basically already has a wide body.
Yep.
You know, and they really don't need to make it much wider than that, but because you wouldn't be getting the drag radials from the Demon on it.
Right.
But the thing about it is, it's like, you know, right now Chrysler only really has two cars. They only have the Pacifica and the 300. And I don't know what the future of the company is. I don't know what the future products are. They have to put out something new.
Yep.
Or they have to make the 300 larger. And I heard that they said they were going to make it on the Pacifica platform so they could stretch that back. But they absolutely need to do that. They absolutely need to, they need to make that car larger, because like when I get into the Hyundai Genesis that we leased, it's like, I'm like, wow, it's amazing that this is like this, but why didn't Chrysler? Why didn't Lincoln? And then Cadillac has the CT6,
right?
And the new Lincoln Continental isn't even that large.
Yeah, no, it's
not.
But
see, this right here, this is where I really started being disgusted with Ford, with the Taurus show, because I was like, the Taurus, it's so bunkerized inside. Right. It's not terribly fast. But
there's a 300
bunker. Yeah, that was the one I was pointing at.
Yeah,
like you see those fender flares. The fender flares on the 300 basically is the wide body kit. If you really think about it, look at you see those fender flares.
Yeah, it's a very beautiful.
No,
sedan.
I loved my black one. I loved it.
And that's what you look at that right beside. It was right beside the Taurus SHO,
right.
And the 300's the better sedan all day.
Yeah, and all even with the most expensive Taurus show, you could only compete with the 5.7 Hemi.
Yep, exactly.
You couldn't touch the 6.1, and you couldn't touch the 6.4.
Oh no, definitely not.
And they still wanted what, 50? I think it was 50,000, 55,000 for one of those. Unless you stepped into that Lincoln MKS, and then you were paying closer to 60, fully loaded and everything, and and it was so bunkerized inside, it felt like you had gotten less car.
And the thing is, Dodge is going to be breaking everybody else's hearts yet again, and raising the bar for the competition, because in 2019, the New York Auto Show next year, they're going to introduce the new.
This guy's getting aggressive.
Yeah, right. You just cuts me off.
And this guy's got a Honda, and he's getting aggressive. It's like, dude, come on.
We're going to 21, 22, and then we'll make a U-turn. Yeah, that's where we're going to go. And then it'll bring us on to Garden State, which brings us right back. But yeah, Dodge is releasing the new 7.0 engine in the New York Auto Show next year, which is going to replace all the SRT engines. So instead of the 6.4, which is in this Jeep, which is basically a glorified 5.7, what they do is they just bore it over, and the cylinder walls are thin, which is why they throw rods when you supercharge them. Hence the reason why the Hellcat's a 6.2 is because they wanted to make the bore smaller to reinforce the cylinder walls. Now with the 7.0, it's going to be reinforced. The cylinder walls are going to be bigger, obviously, because it's got, you know, a bigger displacement. They're not going to be able to get the 6.4 to 7.0 without destroying it. So it's going to be a new engine block. When they release that, we're talking 550 to 575 horsepower. So now you're going to be getting SUVs with 550, 575 naturally aspirated, and still have a Trackhawk as an upgrade option. Wow. So now all their Ram Rebels that are going to get the premium trim are going to be, you know, 575. And if you ask me, I think the 5.7 is the workhorse engine. But I have a funny feeling the 6.4 is going to replace the 5.7. I think all the Ram Rebels are going to come standard 475. And the 575 is now going to be the SRT. So I think that Dodge is really setting the bar so high. In fact, they've set the bar so high, they even have to compete with themselves.
Yeah.
They look back and they're like, wait a minute. We got to top a 6.4 at 475. Hell, get a 7.0. Just get a 7.0. We're going 426 here. screw 392. We're going 426. Can make it 575. We got to compete with ourselves now.
Yeah,
So,
I think like ultimately the horsepower wars that's going on right now, you know, as they start moving more towards plug-ins and electric vehicles, that's going to change a little bit, because now you're just going to be focused on, you know, range. That's going to be the big issue, range, and how much does it cost, you know? Because most of these people are right now driving around 4 cylinders with turbos in them.
oh yeah, no,
So
I'm not into that.
the bulk of the market isn't gonna, you know, they're gonna benefit from the technology.
Oh yeah.
But the performance buyer, you know, you're gonna have faster and faster and faster and faster. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love what they're doing, because they got the 392 right now, which is what's in this car, this Jeep, and now with the 7.0, if you guys didn't know, the 7.0 is 426. So we're now getting the 426 back for the first time in 40 years.
426 Hemi.
Yep, that's what's going to be coming standard in all the SRTs now. 2020. You're going to have to pre-order them by November of 19, so we're going to have to release them at the auto show. So somewhere between now and next January, we're going to start hearing about this 7.0 engine.
That sounds cool.
May even hear about it next month at the auto show. But, you know, the one thing I always say to people who are, oh, I got a twin turbo that makes 400 horsepower, and you're only making 475, or even I'm making the same horsepower as you. Yeah, but there's one thing you don't have.
You don't have instantaneous torque.
Oh, you don't got that grunt of the Hemi or the American Muscle V8. There is no replacement for displacement.
For that V8. And you know, the Mercedes S-Class 2006 had a naturally aspirated V8. And now it was a little less than 400 horsepower. It was like 382. And now they have a twin turbo that makes over 500. But the problem is, because of that turbo lag, and it's just not as fun to drive as that naturally aspirated. So it's like, I grew up with V8s. That was what was yours expected to have. Yep. You know, your Lincoln Continental had it, your Cadillacs had it, and it's like, I demand it. You know, just for right now, I demand it. Now in the future, you know, things change. Okay, yeah, it'll probably end up in the Tesla or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Or unless Dodge, you know, what they should make is a Charger. Like where it has, like, you know, where you plug it in, a Dodge Charger. Yeah. But, you know, the thing about it is, until that happens, you know, all they can focus on is, you know, getting maximum range and not costing $80,000. Right. I keep telling you, you have to go to Tesla, and you got to drive that ludicrous mode.
Oh, I'm going to definitely look into that, since you're telling me about it.
The average person who hasn't driven one or hasn't ridden in one, it's just like with the Hellcats. It's like they think that the cars can't handle well on the track, but they've never driven it, so they don't know how well it can handle. Or with the ludicrous mode, they see cars getting beaten by ludicrous mode, but they don't understand why. Right. So the thing about it is, that's why I drive everything. You know, I drive everything I can drive, and I only stick with the best of what I can afford. But I agree. But Dodge, they give me such a great deal. You know, they give you such a perfect deal.
Oh yeah, and two things that I heard.
You saw that purple 300. Wow,
that was a beautiful.
I picked 300. Him up on. That was nice. It was like, that must have been a custom. Either that or it was a wrap. Plum crazy.
It was really nice. The two crazy things I heard in the last couple of weeks, I figured I'll mention. Absolutely hilarious. The guy's like, oh, with the EcoBoost Explorer, all I gotta do is put a Livernois tune on it, get 450 horsepower, and then it's very close to the Durango SRT. Correct, it is. Or the Jeep SRT. It is very close. Maybe even with a tune, you'd have a little bit more right at the 485 mark. Maybe so, but here's the thing. No replacement for displacement. So you up the boost on your turbos, you max them out, you're making 500 horsepower. Get everything lined up, you're making good power in your Explorer. Great. But now, since the Durango SRT is naturally aspirated, I'm going to slap a supercharger. Now I'm making 700. Now the Explorer once again loses. Right. There's no replacement for displacement. If you've got a turbo, you can up the boost, but you're already tapping out at some point, whereas the Durango and Jeeps are naturally aspirated. They haven't even added a power adder yet, and we're already at the same horsepower. So no matter how much boost you run in an Explorer, how much add-ons you put, once I put a supercharger on my Jeep or my Durango, now I'm in the 600, 700, 800 horsepower, and you're screwed again.
And what's the longevity of your engine at that point? You could boost that engine. Engine. What's the longevity though? Because that engine wasn't designed. It wasn't designed to take that.
Yeah, they weren't. So it depends. But as far as, like, you know, guys saying that kind of thing, or the biggest thing that really irks me, and I try not to get into an argument about it, but it really bothers me. Oh, you got a Hellcat, they're only good for burning out or straight lines. No, believe it or not, the Hellcat Charger can handle on a road course beyond what anybody thinks it can.
Oh, absolutely.
It comes from the Mercedes AMG old SLS frame, and that was a just a complete monster in the 90s. Like, they handle so well, and that's where Mercedes was leading the way in the 90s. And it's great tech. FCA has put a better suspension, adaptive suspension in it. Sure, is it going to handle around a track like a Shelby GT350 or maybe a Pagani Zonda? No, it's not. But it's also not $300,000
right,
or $1 million. For its class and for what it costs, a Charger Hellcat with a competent driver is going to go around a road course better than anything in its price range and horsepower range.
And even the Charger Hellcats, because they get up so quick in straight lines,
yeah,
depending upon what kind of track you're on, you can still pull off really good times, considering the fact that once you get to those straightaways, you can take off.
Right.
You know, like, I mean, the mere fact that thing can do 170 real easy.
Yeah,
you know, it's harder to do 200, but it can do 170 real easy in a straightaway.
Yeah, and remember what these kids are saying. It's like you said in your other video, and I've been saying it for like forever, and I agree with it. Oh, well, take it around that track in Germany, that Nuremberg ring, or take it around the Daytona 500. Take it around the. Yeah, do you even like go to the track?
No.
Like, when was the last time you drove a road course?
No.
Like when? Where? I'd love to know.
No, because what's going to happen is you're going to pull up to me at a light in the middle of the street, and I'm going to take off, and you're going to be behind me. That's what happens.
This guy rolls up in his, whatever it is, Acura NSX or Honda S2000. Oh, well, when I played Gran Turismo 4, this car is faster than a Charger. This is not Gran Turismo 4. This is not the Nürburgring Ring. This is New Jersey. This is a highway. It's real life. And I can promise you that your really great handling sports car from Germany is not going to outrun the Hellcat on the I-95.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee it, and it ain't going to outrun it at a regular track with a regular driver.
Oh, no, I love arguing with the Acura fanboys, but yeah, and what kills me is the shame of it is that's the fastest car that they've ever driven, because most likely they came out of something slower.
Right.
And the sad thing is, like, I look at the NSX, and I was just reading a story, I think it was a Motor Trend or Autoblog, that the NSX was one of the worst selling of the cars. Meanwhile, Lamborghinis moving Huracans left and right, and those cost more. So the question is, why is that? Well, maybe number one, it looks better. Number two, it's faster.
Yep.
And number three, it just has more sex appeal in that not only does it look better, but it's a Lamborghini.
Right.
You know, you're accurate. Most people would say, they look at that, they were like, well, yeah, it's cute and everything. But it's like when they get in, they expect to be blown away. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
You just don't get it. So my thing is, like, for these people who think everything works like it does in Gran Turismo and Forza. I played Forza.
Yeah, me too.
It was the most unrealistic handling I'd ever seen. And like, I was driving, I modded out a 300. I would drive it stock, 50 miles per hour. I couldn't take any turns with it.
Yeah,
and I was like, wait a minute, this thing doesn't drive like that in real life. Come on.
No way. And see, the thing is that I tell a lot of people on my YouTube channel when I'm doing videos and stuff, I grew up, racing cars. For the past 20 years, all I've done is work on cars. Every car, almost every car I've ever built or bought and modded to go around a road course or to go to the drag strip, whatever, I've had to put roll bars, sway bars, lower the car, lower the center of gravity, like, just to get the car to where it needs to be. My Hellcat's not lowered, and I'm not lowering it. Why? Because the suspension on the Hellcat, in my opinion, is one of the best, if not the best, for its price and class handling I have ever seen in my life. Yeah. That car can take corners at 70 miles an hour, and it does not break away at all. And if it does, blame the road, the conditions, and the tire, not the car. I'm just.
And then the amazing thing, especially with all the 392 cars and the Hellcat, which most people don't understand until they drive it, even though when you're driving it, like, when you want to take a turn a little bit sharper, all you got to do is step on the throttle.
Right.
And when you push that throttle, you get oversteer. Yeah. Or you can get understeer on demand. On demand. And like, if you really want to take a corner, you can throw the back of the car, and it's so heavy in front that you're able to actually point it, which is one of the things that I've noticed about Mustang and Corvette drivers who have a lot of power. They skid out, they spin out, they can't control the car because the car's too light and it has a lot of power, but it's too light.
Yep.
So Dodge, they have balancing.
Yep.
And I don't know what the absolute back and forth balances, but they're balanced so well that
they are. They're great.
That it's difficult to spin out unless you turn your traction control off. At that point, you're on God's mercy.
And good luck trying to spin a Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT out. We'd never spin this unless we were on ice.
Yeah.
See, this is what's
I've driven this on the road course. I've driven this on the road course track.
Oh my
And
god.
I've driven these on the road course track, and I was amazed how well this thing can go around the curves on the Elizabethtown racetrack. I was amazed, absolutely amazed.
Yeah, and it's also amazing when I hear people say things like, oh, for example, like 6 months ago, someone said, oh yeah, the new Trackhawk coming out, the Jeep SRTs. Well, they feel like they're floating down the highway. I'm like, yeah, if you get the base model. Yeah. I'm like, do you think Dodge is going to put a 500 horsepower engine in a base suspension Jeep? You know, they upgrade the suspension. They put stuff into these SUVs to, you know, complement the power. Whereas, you know, other manufacturers, I can't necessarily say the same thing.
Right.
So,
well, this car has air suspension.
Yep.
It's got a competition air suspension. You know, when we later on I'll get gas, but it's got a competition air suspension. I think that the tires have either a negative or a positive camber, so that not only are these tires wider than the standard Jeep, but on top of that, they're actually angled.
Yeah, 295, I think, is the size.
Yeah, 295, that's the stock size, but on top of that, the camber, they're angled.
Oh, yeah, they got like a negative 1 point, like negative 1 or negative 1.4 degrees.
Yeah, and
like
they don't talk about that. But here's the thing. In regular, everyday driving, you wouldn't notice it. However, once you start taking curves, you realize how well planted the thing is, you know?
Yeah, and another thing I mentioned many times is some people complain and they say that Dodge's steering wheel, blah, blah, blah. This flat bottom steering wheel from SRT
I love that
is
steering
the
wheel.
most amazing steering wheel I've ever had my hands on. And I've owned Shelby's, I've owned an M3, I've had 335s, I've had tons of Hondas, Civics, Integras, S2000 had a great steering wheel. Hell, the steering wheel on my DC5 was a Momo, and this is still better. This is like...
And it's nice. It's like a perfect size, especially for this truck.
Oh my God! It's just like I like how thick it is, and when I grab onto it, it feels like a manly steering wheel that's comfortable. It's not like one of those really thin ones you get in the Durango V6. Like it's very thin and plasticky, but this is a very well built steering wheel.
And you know, and that's what another thing that upsets me about the Trackhawk, that it doesn't have the SRT on the wheel.
Yeah, it needs to say that because that lights up on the 17s or 18s.
Yeah, so I think it's part of a package, but it's like sometimes, like when I have coworkers in and the girls, they're sitting in the back, they're like, oh, well, what's that mean? Oh, it means street racing technology.
Yeah.
And they could hear it, like sometimes they'll listen. They're like, oh, is there something wrong with your car? Why does it sound like this? Because it's got a V8 and you're used to driving in a 4-cylinder you can't hear.
Yeah.
You know?
I just... Like, what other manufacturer gives you that? Like, for example, you know, this is a vehicle that's base price MSRP at like 69 or 72, something like that.
Yep.
And you're getting G-force gauges. You get your full SRT setup, G-force, peak G-force, 0 to 60 timer, 8-mile, quarter-mile timer, braking distance. You have SRT pages, 0 to 60 in 3.8, just under 500 horsepower, all-wheel drive. 295 tires that are going to get you through the snow, the wet, the dry. It sounds absolutely fantastic.
All year long.
This car will run the same quarter-mile time all year round. Doesn't matter. That's that reliable with 0 to 60.
All year long. Oh, this is narrowing. You can let them.
Yep. I'm letting them in up there. But yeah, no, it's just you're not going to get this kind of a vehicle.
I got to notice, the Toyota drivers you have here in New Jersey are very aggressive.
Oh, no, Jersey has some crappy drivers.
These guys are really, really aggressive. Like
way more aggressive than New York City. Because only the cab drivers drive like that in New York City.
Yeah.
Then nobody else drives like that.
No. Because, I mean, like, she's half the size of this thing, and she's pushing over like, yeah, get out of the way.
Right, yeah, no. And the brakes, too. Like, who puts Brembos on a family sport sedan or, like, sport SUV like Dodge does? Everything's got Brembos now with their SRT lineup. And I can't say anything but good things about Dodge and what they're doing because no one else is doing it. Like, when I sit
But
here...
you know what? Nope, there is one other company, Hyundai and Kia. Hyundai and Kia. I have to give it to them. You know, I've released from them twice, an Azera and then a Genesis, and now people are telling me, oh, you should trade the Genesis in for a G8 Sport. And I'm thinking that Genesis might end up going back for a Volvo XC90. But the thing about it is, yeah, they're putting Brembo brakes on that Kia Stinger, and I tested it out. Everything feels good. But now the question is, okay, you're a Kia Stinger owner. Now do you want to have to pay Brembo prices to change your brake parts now? And that's the thing. They're taking economy cars and they're making them into race cars, basically.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the Kia Stinger's a nice car, a little underpowered. I would have liked to have seen it with 400 or
I'll tell you, like,
425.
I'd take it over a TLX.
Oh, yeah, any day. I take a Kia Stinger over over a Malibu or an Impala.
Oh, hell yeah.
The Kia Stinger is the most up-and-coming sedan. I can't wait to see what they do in the next couple of years.
And now you mentioned the Impala. Now, I love the Impala's interior space, just like the Buick LaCrosse. But for them to build that car and not have all-wheel drive as an option on that car, that was a big failure. Because one thing I've noticed, a lot of people who do go buying used cars, a lot of them try to get all-wheel drive after those depreciations have set in. So now, for not a lot of money, you can get a decent all-wheel drive, all-year driver for your family, right?
Right.
Everything needs to have all-wheel drive at this point, because front-wheel drive is not enough. It's just not enough.
Nope.
And I'm eventually you'll probably see Toyota have it. You'll probably see Nissan have it eventually for the Maxima, for at least the large cars. You know, the large family-size cars.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that the with the competition the way it is, they're only getting better and better. But the one thing where Chevy has stepped back, in my opinion, is when they released the Chevy SS with the LS engine from the Holden, the 425. Now that was a sedan that I would definitely purchase from Chevrolet.
Yeah, that's probably the only one I would purchase.
Yep, and they did it right. That thing can handle well. It's fast, a little underpowered, but you know what? Give it an intake, a tune, put a cam in it.
I'll tell you, when you really think about it, I wouldn't say that it's underpowered. I think the problem is, it was really designed for Australia, but I think the problem is that they designed it kind of probably as a response to the 6.1 Hemi, right? So it's 425 versus whatever the SS was, because they were right about the same. Problem is, now you got the Charger, now you got the 300 with 480 or 475, whichever one it is.
They brought it over too late.
They brought it over way too late.
Yep.
And I mean, it looks just like a Malibu stretched out, and that also killed it. It doesn't have the looks. Because these Chargers, you say whatever you want about them, the Chargers have a very original look, and nothing else on the road looks like a Charger. Nothing else on the road looks like a Challenger.
Oh yeah, no, they look great. And another thing too that just amazes me, like that Ford Edge in front of us, brand new, they go for 45,000. There goes the Trackhawk, I think, or is that SRT?
I think. One past us?
Yeah, white one, gorgeous one, brand new too.
No, I didn't see it. It's too bad he didn't have those lights like I do, so you know that on his bumper, it's a tracker. Like, I can't understand what was Dodge thinking. Yeah. It's like you took away every cue that lets me know at a distance that this thing is special. Yep. At a distance, I don't have to be near it. I don't have to read supercharged. I don't have to see that little badge. But the lights on the front of this truck, you see those from 2 blocks away.
Like, look at this guy's light bar.
Yeah, I don't know. These Jeep guys with these Wranglers and those light bars, man, I think that's
crazy and funny.
And then they make them look like angry mouths. Like,
it's crazy.
I always think that's just so weird, the Wrangler culture.
Yeah. You know when Dodge is doing something right, when you can take a family SUV that you can fit 5 people in here, go on your picnic and have all your stuff in the car, and you can smoke a Mustang GT 0 to 60, no problem. It's bone stock, because no Mustang's running 3.8 0 to 60. Mm-hmm. And that's stock. You do an intake, a tune, an exhaust, and a cam in this, and you're running like 3.2, 3.1 all day. There's guys out there on this video right now, they're going to comment below, I guarantee, and say,
oh man, I've got so many trolls. Yeah. I've got trolls for days.
Yeah, they're going to be, someone will say, oh no, my Mustang. I tell you what, you take a stock, no, but this is before the 10-speed auto. Pre-2015-16, any manual Mustang GT, even the 5.0 doesn't matter, and line it up with this, both bone stock, the Jeep will win every single time. There's no competition. There's guys that'll even probably comment on this video right now agreeing, saying they've run 3.7 stock, because in the cold weather this Jeep could probably do 3.7 or 3.6.
Probably easily,
so they're very, very good SUVs, and plus you gotta let that Hemi rip a little bit. Here we go. Oh no, you can't compete with that. Listen to that sound. Ford doesn't have it. Chevy barely has it. Some of their cars, nothing sounds better than the sound of that Hemi just screaming, begging me to hit the pedal more, begging for more fuel.
Yeah.
It's just, that's it right there. That's the selling point.
Yep. And it just feels so good to have it.
Yeah, and the transmission shifts so smoothly and fast. It's not like we're in a car that's fast but rides like crap. It rides good, it shifts smooth, and it's fast.
Yep.
So, I mean, to be honest, like I've said in my other videos before, Dodge has the best transmission programming. Continental and FCA have gotten together to make the best programming of any transmission I've ever seen. Nothing shifts faster than a Hellcat. Nothing.
Nothing.
And the thing is, it's not a dual clutch. It's a torque converter. So the fact is, a torque converter can shift and handle more power. Dual clutch can't handle that kind of power. So you got dual clutch that handles that kind of power. You're talking $130,000 BMWs and Mercedes. They have a torque converter transmission that is shifting in 160 milliseconds like that with no problem, and it can handle the power. And a torque converter transmission, in my opinion, is better than a dual clutch.
And the only thing that really holds them back is just the weight.
Yeah,
but
just
see,
the weight.
and that's the problem, because these other luxury makers have shifted over to aluminum, which is more expensive. So now, you know, like if they were to make this an aluminum body and everything like they do with
nice.
Ford, I see those all day, white on black wheels.
Yep.
But you know, if they were to make this aluminum, they could probably cut 1,000 pounds off of this thing. They might be able to cut off more. But the problem is, then the price would go up to the point where like the regular one would be like $70,000. You couldn't afford it at that point.
Oh, right, yeah, no.
Or you could afford it, but it'd be like the F-150. You'd be paying so much more money, and then your insurance would be higher because it's harder to paint aluminum.
Yeah.
Just like with Tesla, because there are those aluminum bodies. It's harder to paint. The paint doesn't bond to aluminum the same way. It's like it's issue after issue after issue. So basically, Dodge, I mean, they're getting away with selling modern, ultra modern, ancient technology.
Yep.
And they've done it in such a way where nobody can compete with them at all in that segment, because they're giving you something that nobody else offers. Nobody else offers it.
Yeah, like look at the new Explorer that just came out, the new sport version. It's no longer 360 horsepower, it's a whopping 380. They got it to 380. But look at that Explorer, even the one that's 360. They go for $55,000 to $58,000 fully loaded before tax. For $10,000 more, you can get a 500 horsepower Jeep SRT.
I used to love Cadillac EXTs.
Oh, that's
I used to
nice.
love them. Then they stopped making them and everything. I used to love them, and now it's like, you know, if I had to get like a truck that had like a bed like that, I would either get that or the Avalanche. But I'd probably lean towards the Avalanche because it'd be cheaper to keep.
Yeah, the thing is that no, even with the RST, I'll admit, the RST Tahoe is an absolutely stunning SUV. Chevrolet did a great job with it. I'm going to be doing a review on it. But you know what? The price you're paying, you could pay the same price and have a Durango SRT and have 50 more horsepower. So it just doesn't, I mean, I just don't see, Chevy is kind of, I guess, aiming at a different market, maybe whatever.
Chevy's moving straight to economy. They're just focused on sales at this point. They're killing their performance division.
If I had to choose between Ford or Chevy when it comes to muscle, I still think Chevy has a little bit more of a grab on the muscle market. They've still got the ZL1. The ZL1.
The ZL1 gets beat by the Hellcat. The CTSV gets beat by the Hellcat. I feel so sorry for the people who try to argue with me, and then I post the videos showing the Hellcat stock beating the ZL1, beating the CTSV. But see, the problem is 650 is a lower number than 770. It comes down to math. It just comes down to simple math. But the way. Oh, okay. Well, you'll get whatever you got, because I got plenty. But no, my thing is, I'm waiting for them to push these things up to 1,000 horsepower.
Oh yeah, no.
Because at this point, you have to be there to be able to say, yeah, well, we've got the fastest and this, that, and the other.
Yeah,
but I'd love to see that.
And the crazy part about this whole thing is that they just, you look at the, like you said, the RST. They just basically, looks to me like they took the SRT and made it RST. Great SUV, looks good, 50 horsepower less than the Durango, same price. You look at what everybody else is doing, these EcoBoost, 360 horsepower. Explorer's now got 380 in their upper tier edition, whatever it's called. You're now looking at 60,000 plus for that. 10 grand more gets you SRT Durango. You got 110 more horsepower. I mean, for hell's sake, you can get a base RT Durango, like just the 5.7 Hemi. You got the same power as the top tier one from Ford. Dodge is, like you said, ancient technology. They're just throwing out these big engines that are tried, tested, and true, giving you all kinds of premium features, handling. The Uconnect by far is better than Ford's Touch. I forget what it's called. Their Sync.
My Touch. Or Sync.
Their Sync. Yeah, no, the Uconnect is way better than Sync. My wife's got an Explorer now, so from experience, we've had 2 Explorers in the past, and I've had a couple of Mustangs. The Uconnect is better, so you're getting a better touch. You get the DVDs you can put in the headrest.
And you know, it also works really well. Our voice control for asking it for addresses to find addresses. I was blowing people away just by showing them how simple. I hit that button and then I give it an address and it just finds it. And I was blowing people away with that. And
the flat bottom steering wheel, like I discussed earlier, is the best steering wheel I've ever put my hands on. And I've owned 25 cars. I've had Hondas, BMWs, I've had a Mercedes before, I've had Jeeps, I had a couple of Durangos. I've had 2 Durangos, an SRT and an RT. I had a blacked out, murdered out RT. I've had the Integra now, a couple RSX. I've got the Hellcat. I've been in all kinds of different cars, even an Audi. I had an RS5 back in the day, which was beautiful. And nothing has the steering wheel like the SRT. I just love, it's thicker, it's bigger. Sure, it's not a true flat bottom. The new Camaro ZL1 flat bottom steering wheel is a little more flat in the bottom, a little smaller, but I like the SRT steering wheel. I just like it.
I love it. I don't want a car without it.
No, I mean, this steering wheel in my Hellcat and in my Durango SRT is one of the main reasons that make it so comfortable, is grabbing onto it. It has the grips right here. It's just so comfortable. It's, you know, Dodge really is leading the way because the fact that, like, look at this. You're not going to find an American vehicle that has suede on the A-pillars, and if you do, I'd love to know what it is, and I would love to know if it's less than 80 grand, because I guarantee you it isn't.
Right.
The Porsche has this, the BMW has this, the Mercedes has it, yeah, but your price tagging is like 110, 120, 140 for the base model. Start adding this, add the steering wheel, start adding carbon fiber trim. What's your X5M going to run at that point? I've priced them out at 130 when they're maxed out. You can max this out at 80 and you're going to smoke it every time.
Every time.
And you get a Trackhawk, you max that shit out, you're at 100,000. You're still $20,000, $30,000 less. I'm telling you, if anybody watching this video thinks an X5M is going to hang with a Trackhawk, I don't think so. I don't care if you think it will. I'm not even going to argue with you, because I will give you my Hellcat.
I've already seen videos.
Yeah,
I've already seen videos. Trackhawks winning.
Yeah, no, there's no X5M makes, what is the power in X5M? It's 550. You said earlier 550.
It might even be higher than that, because most of these German cars are pushing to 650 now. Problem is, 650 is not 707.
Well, it has the M5 engine. The M5 is only 550.
Okay.
So if it's
with the newest ones,
yeah. So let's just say,
and then there's the Mercedes.
Yeah.
Like because you also remember I went to see the Lamborghini Urus. I bet the Trackhawk will take down the Urus too.
Yeah,
I bet.
There's no way. I'm going to tell you right now. Anybody wants to bring an X5M to the table when he gets or I get my Trackhawk, we'll bet thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that even with a 1-car head start, an X5M will not touch a Trackhawk. It will not. 0 to 60 times in the Trackhawk, guys are already getting 3 flat in the Trackhawk, 3.1, 3.2, bone stock. When you do an upper pulley on that, pin the crank, do intake, exhaust, and tune, we're going to be talking 2.5, 2.6 all day. There is no BMWs that are going to touch that. And even if, let's just say hypothetically they did, we're talking about a $120,000, $130,000 truck getting spanked by an $85,000 truck. You just can't compete.
Nope.
Can't.
Okay. Let's run that thing before it gets dark.
All right.
What mods did you put in this thing?
It's got an unlocked PCM running a 93 octane tune, which is just the leg maker can tune right now. It's running the leg maker cold air intake and the full Corsa catback exhaust. So I'd like to think it's probably doing about 750 crank right now, 775, just I guess depending on what power.
Have you had a chance to dyno it?
No, not yet, but I'm going to tune it and do a pulley soon.
Okay.
Nothing beats that.
Let's get that air up. It's a nice heater, a nice heat. Beautiful heat.
Oh yeah, got a
Oh, you're low too, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's one thing you got to get used to when you have SRT is that low fuel light. Oh, you use your. I noticed you use your parking brake
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, is it because you're like used to the manual?
Yeah, it's because mainly because of the fact that I used to drive a stick with the Mustang and the BMW, and I really don't trust it on the transmission. It's a little trick I always tell you: put the car in neutral. And then after you put the car in neutral, put the e-brake on, let all the weight go against your e-brake, put it in park, and then your transmission's not working. It saves your transmission. I'd rather replace my brakes than my transmission, I'll tell you what. But, yeah, I got big truck driving my Hellcat, and I was driving his SRT, so we're doing a swap-a-roo today, just making videos for you guys. And of course, you know, if he gets his Trackhawk or if I get a Trackhawk, we're definitely going to be doing, like, crazy videos. It's going to get real fun. And he drove it once before, but now he gets to drive it again and enjoy it. The Hellcat.
Well, not in the rain.
Not in the rain, because you really couldn't drive it in the rain. But this has got so much power that there goes the Cadillac right there we were talking about.
That's the Impala.
Oh, is it?
That's the Impala right
there.
there.
No, one that passed that way. CTSV went that way, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this has got so much power. It's only got the 275s on it. It was burning out in third gear. What do you think of that, huh?
No, well, just like when I bought mine, it's like I just love that sound. I just love that sound. The CTSV
Oh, yeah.
CTS-V Coupe has a supercharger, but it's not like this.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It doesn't have. Wow.
Yeah, the brakes.
What did you get? New brakes or something?
Yeah, they're brand new.
Jesus.
Brand new pads, brand new rotors.
I stepped on the thing. I thought.
They got replaced under warranty because they were squealing. So I got brand new pads and rotors in the front and the rear.
You get the dealer OEMs, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything is OEM factory warranted. It's all Hellcat charger parts and SRT.
Yeah, I stick with OEM because it's like, despite the brake dust, it's like I just like to know that they'll never be able to say, oh yeah, well you should have gotten it from us, and now it's not covered.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I don't want any of that. I don't want any shenanigans.
Yeah, no, I definitely, when I mod this car, pulley, tune, intake, header, exhaust, stuff like that, but I would never mess with the brakes. It's going to stay factory. Anything that isn't bolt-on or a tune, it's factory. I don't even know if I'd even cam the car. I don't know.
No,
Maybe.
I wouldn't. Camming the car, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
The basics are fine, like your exhaust, your intake, that's just basic stuff. But it's a really fun car to drive. If you guys haven't driven a Hellcat, I recommend going for a test drive in one. I also, did you see this one, Big Chuck? Turn the light on so that your subscribers
That's
can
the
see.
thing. They'll never let them test drive this. They'll never let you test drive.
Really?
SRT in general, they refuse to let you test drive them unless they know they got a sale.
Oh,
because
yeah.
there's so many people. Oh yeah, well I'm interested in all
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
And now unless if it's used, maybe. If
Yep.
it's brand new, they'll never let you they won't let you touch them.
Well, on the 17 Chargers, they added the red Hellcat SRT stamp for the passenger side of the dashboard. Anything before 2017, like my 16, didn't have it. My 16 said Charger right here, which was the same that you find in the base Charger, which I thought was pretty whack, considering I paid for a Hellcat and mine just says Charger. So I went out and bought this right here and added it on from the dealer. It cost me $50, but it's the one that comes in the 17 and it actually says SRT, so I thought that was pretty cool. Just to make the trim better where it should be, because let's face it, you don't want the basic Charger badge over here because that comes in the $30,000 Charger. You buy a Hellcat, it should say SRT.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't do it originally, but they did change it.
But see, that's the thing. A lot of the stuff with the Dodge product, it's like I don't know if it's ideas that come later, because if you remember, in the very beginning when they first brought these cars out, the Challenger Hellcat, there was no Hellcat badge. It said supercharged on the side of the Challenger Hellcat, if you remember that. And if you look at Jay Leno's video of him driving it, it actually says that on the side. It only said supercharged. But then they came back and they was like, okay, we're going to put the cat badge on it. Which that helped, I think, sell this car.
Yeah, Tim Kaniska said something about that. He said originally the Hellcat was the name of the engine, and eventually we changed the name of the car.
Engine, yeah.
So maybe they didn't have time to switch the badge out on the dash because they'd already built so many units and were already under production. So that's why the 17 got the SRT Hellcat badge over here on the dashboard. I guess that makes sense, total sense. But I just love, the one thing I don't like about the SRT, but also it's kind of like a oxymoron, I like and dislike at the same time, is that if you want your exhaust flaps wide open, you have to go to track mode as it's automatically controlled. Oh yeah, gotta love that supercharger whine.
And then the wind down of the transmission.
Oh yeah.
I no matter which car you have, if you have the 8 speeds, you always hear the step down of the transmission. It's just flawless. You don't feel anything. It's just amazing.
Like, what car are you gonna get that's under $75,000, gives you full control of the car, rides this good, handles this good, sounds this good, brakes amazing, and has over 700 horsepower, and you got a warranty on top? They actually warranty this kind of thing.
It's amazing.
It's like a warranted factory race car, and you get 5-year 50,000 on the powertrain or 3-year 36 bumper to bumper. Like, just think about the fact that Dodge gives you 700 horsepower and they're even willing to back that under warranty. Now, if you are putting a pulley on there and you're pinning your crank and you're putting a cam and you're making 1,000 horsepower and the engine blows, you don't have anybody to blame but yourself. That's not Dodge's fault, but I mean, the chances of you blowing an engine with less than 1,200 wheel, as long as your tuner is competent, like Josh at HHP, you're going over to Tim Barth Tuning in Illinois, or you're going to go over to AJ at Hemi Tuner. If you've got a really good tuner, you're probably not going to even have issues even at 1,200 horsepower, because when they built this engine, I think Tim Barth said it best when he said he tuned them and they didn't start throwing rods till 1,300, yet the car only came with 700. So they built it to handle 13, but only gave you 7. That's why they're able to give you a warranty, because the engine has been over beefed.
Right.
So they knew people were going to build it more beyond 7. I know guys that are running tracks all day with this car, making 800-900 wheel all day long, have 30,000 miles, now have one engine problem because they built this engine to last. Like the
that's typically how it is.
Yeah.
You know what? And that reminds me, arguments that I used to have with people about the Bugatti Veyron.
Yeah.
The thing about it is, when they build it, like, they were like, oh yeah, well, the Hennessy Venom GT only needs this much power to go 200. And I'm like, no, listen, you're missing the point. The reason why that thing is a 16-cylinder with 4 turbochargers is for engine longevity, as much as performance. Yeah, they could probably make it 2,000 horsepower.
Yep.
Thing about it is, it's not going to last that long at 2,000 horsepower, even if you are paying $3 million for it.
Yep.
So what they're doing is they're building an engine that they know will never break down, and then down-tuning it and saying, okay, we're going to sell you 1,500 horsepower or whatever.
Right.
But you'll never have to worry about that engine ever blowing out.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody's modding those things.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to mod quad turbos. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
You know, and you can be assured that that car will literally last forever.
I'm willing to bet the Demon could probably take 1,500 with no problem.
Probably easily.
Right.
The thing about the Demon, that launch control system puts so much stress on those drivetrains and everything, that you know that drivetrain had to be overdone just to ensure that constant launching would, and it was designed for constant launching.
Absolutely.
And if it was designed for constant launching, you have to assume that the testing required them to do constant launching with that Demon.
Oh, yeah.
So that means that they tested that thing to say, we can launch this car over and over and over and over, and you will never have to worry about that car breaking down ever.
Oh, exactly. You always want to go with something. Yeah. Now that is epic. Oh.
Yeah, that thing sounds great, man.
It sounds awesome.
It sounds so much better than mine. And you changed the exhaust too.
You got a Corsa exhaust. Yep.
Yeah, the Corsa exhaust. I don't do the mods, but yeah, I like the way
you
it
can
sounds.
make a U-turn here too.
Incredible.
At the next light.
If I were to build one of these things from the make a U-turn here,
you can actually turn left up here at this light. Yep. This is the one spot you can turn left.
If I were to build one of these cars like myself and put my mods in it, any mod idea I could think of, either a Corsa or a Borla, definitely. I'd probably do a Mopar. I like to stick with the OEM, but I'd probably do a Mopar cold air intake.
Yep.
And other than that, I think I'd get a radar detector built in and everything. But let's see what happens with the wide body. Let's see what happens with the wide body Charger.
I tell you what, they drop the wide body Charger at the auto show next month, like they should, or the new Ram, I may just get one of those instead of the GT500. I'll have to make an apology video. But if Dodge comes back with something better than the GT500, then that's what I'm going to get. I've been eyeballing the Trackhawk for a while. I've just been having to make a decision because I love cars, and there's been 2 or 3 that I like. And so we'll see what Dodge does. But I love the Charger, and I think if I had to get rid of the Charger or the Integra, I probably would get rid of the Integra. Even though I love the Integra, and it's one of my dream cars, and it's very rare. I absolutely love the Charger. I just don't know if I have it in me to sell the Charger.
And I'll tell you, I personally, and I've said this a million times, I personally love the 300.
Yeah.
I wear like black suits all the time. I have a nice black 300. Now, if I were to get it again, I'd probably get silver this time, or the dark blue, the jazz blue.
Yeah, that's a really nice color, jazz blue.
I wouldn't want to buy another 300 unless it was a Hellcat 300.
Right.
So the problem is, I feel like they've just, they just said, oh yeah, well, you'll just have to stick with the Dodge, and I like the Charger too. It's just that I really like that 300. I love the way the 300 looks. I absolutely love it. It looks elegant.
No, the 300 is
like the Charger looks fast. It looks like a beast. It looks like a monster. But the 300s look elegant, and that's what I like about it. It's like being a bully with a black tie.
Yeah,
that I like.
No, it's just Dodge's lineup is looking good if they really sit there and think about what they've achieved.
And I'm allowed to make a complete E right here.
You could. I'll probably pull into the gas station. I'll put $10 in this so we don't run out.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yeah. On my way home, I'll probably stop by BP right here.
See, like that Civic right there in the SI, the EM1, that was a great little Honda Civic back in the day. You could get them, you know, right now for probably $3,000-4,000. But when I look back at those days, kids drive those cars. I still enjoy them. I really enjoy Honda Civics like that. But when you think about the big boys, big toys, 700 horsepower versus 200 or 160.
And the Honda Civic costs like half what one of these is, right?
Yeah, like that. When that one came out brand new, I think it was like 20 grand.
Okay.
But back in the day, it was great. I mean, I still love Hondas, but to me, the only way to buy a Honda is a Type R.
Do you know how many bullies I got on my YouTube? Oh yeah, Type R will smoke your Hellcat, it'll smoke your Jeep. And I'm like,
what?
Are you serious?
What?
Did Forza allow you to have 1,000 horsepower Civics now? It's like, come on, man, really? It's like, I can't believe you're saying that. I can't even believe you're saying that. We get the window down, you get that sound. I'll turn the heat off.
Oh, yikes. Now that is epic.
So you're doing burnouts in motion.
Yeah, burnouts in motion. That's scary. We could crash. Big truck getting it. Big truck getting it in the Hellcat. Oh, my God.
A little to the left.
Whoa.
It's a little to the left. Now see, had that been a Mustang, I would have hit a crowd. I would have hit some unsuspecting crowd somewhere.
That's why I've been hesitant to talk about Mustangs, because they always talk about hitting crowds.
That's all they do. Killing innocent children in crowds. I don't know what that's about. Man, I tell you, yeah.
Big truck's getting it. He's getting it in the Hellcat. This is awesome, though. Hey, what sedan can you get? Like, even at that note right there, tell me the highest horsepower sedans in the world. You got the M5, the E63, you got the SLS AMG, you got...
I mean, you know, and the BMWs, what I love making fun of, the BMWs, they went through this situation where their cars had almost no sound, and they had to have simulated engine noise come through the speakers. I'm like, you're playing engine notes through the speakers. It's like, are you kidding? Like, really, are you kidding? That's like, imagine this. Imagine a Tesla Model S. Imagine a Tesla Model S has a big speaker.
Right.
And in the roof or something, and it's playing an engine note as it passes by. It's like, that's just sad.
Just like the Mustang.
That's just sad.
100% fact, the Mustang GT, the 5.0, the new one, they actually have one of those little tubes that goes from the intake piping
just so you can hear
to
it.
the inside of the cabin so you can hear it, whereas with a Hellcat, we have to spend money to sound deaden the cabin because the supercharger's too loud.
And that was another thing that bothered me about the Trackhawk. They specifically made an oversized muffler system. And I heard that they used part of the Durango's muffler system, but they made it quieter.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, why would you do that?
See, there's an Explorer right there. So yeah, stop. There we go.
Oh, your camera stopped. It's like, why would you make it quieter? The reason why you pay $100,000 was so it's as loud as possible.
He died. That's fine though. Because I got my GoPro, I can put I'll do my goodbyes on the GoPro. Thank God I got 2 cameras.
Yeah.
And I got my phone. So that's why guys like us always got to be prepared.
Yeah. Well, me, I get my Mophie. I have my my iPhone wire. When I go to the New York International Auto Show, I have my Mophie in my pocket, the iPhone wire.
Nice.
And I can record for 10 hours straight if I want.
Nice.
With that, and when they make a 512 gigabyte iPhone with the 4K, it's like I'll be even twice as I'll be able to record for like 20 hours. You know,
Nice.
It would be crazy.
Yeah, and then driving, and then you see how fast it is with the Hellcat. Now when he's driving normally, we're just in traffic, and the car rides like a regular sedan, and it looks all tame. And if I didn't have all the carbon fiber on the car, no one really, you know, if they didn't know anything about cars, they wouldn't know that it was a Hellcat. Like, look at this. I hate that. When they drag things between the back of the bumper.
I always expect something to snag on that and then to rip the bumper off.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
There's just certain things I just don't do. It's like,
yeah, you just don't do it.
It's just straight. Yeah, these guys are so aggressive.
Yeah, they drive like that because they see the Hellcat.
That's a Volkswagen, isn't it?
That was a Kia, and the one in front was a BMW.
Oh my God, the Kias are threatening me? Wow.
Yeah, no.
Usually it's a GTI. Usually if a GTI spots me in traffic, no matter what if it says SRT on the back, the GTI is gonna fight me and race me.
Yep.
I'm supposed to be in the left.
Yep, you don't gotta turn yet though. You're about 3 lights out.
Oh.
But you're eventually gonna have to get in the left lane, yeah. But the thing is, you know, a lot of people say, oh, the Hellcat's only good for burning out because they gave you 275s. Yeah, they did. The 275s were mainly there for all season, and no manufacturer of tires makes a tire bigger than 275 in mass production, and they needed mass production tires. They also needed to get the Hellcat over 200 miles an hour, and you can't do that with a 315. However, other than that, if you put 315s, which I have, which are going on in 2 weeks, I don't even burn out in first gear. I can get all power. It feels like you're in a rocket ship. With 315s, with sticky 315s, you're good. And see, there's a CTSV right there.
Wow.
And or maybe it's not a CTS.
That's a regular one. You can see his tailpipes are triangular. If they were circles, that would be a CTSV.
Now, the sad part about this is that car right there, brand new, is a 3.6, and it's probably close to Hellcat pricing and only has, what, like 400 horsepower, 3-something?
They don't sell CTSV coupes anymore. They have the ATSV coupe.
Okay.
They don't have CTSV coupes anymore, but the CTSV is a 4-door, and it's $100,000. It's like $105,000.
Oh God.
So you're talking about Trackhawk money for a slower car.
Yeah.
Technically, it's a slower car, and then it's, you know, it doesn't give you the SUV perform, and it doesn't have all-wheel drive.
Now, don't forget about what all the trolls are going to say, but the quality with
trolls,
Chrysler's not good.
I don't lie, and I don't clickbait them. They know I'm going to tell them what it is, and then I'm going to leave it on them to try to prove me wrong. But they can't prove me wrong.
There's a $70,000 Mercedes sedan right there.
Which one's that, AMG?
Yep. Yeah. And that thing right there.
That one's old. That's a 2009 or something. That's
turn left
the
at these
last
lights.
generation.
Yeah, and the thing is that Mercedes sedan right there is priced where a Hellcat is and has 200 less horsepower or more. Could be 250 less. So that's the way it goes, you know, with money. But Mercedes make a great car. I mean, it's just that you're not going to get this kind of power for this kind of price, and that's what I love about Dodge. And look at the gauges here. Look at how in-depth it is with the SRT pages. It also shows the intake temperature, so that big truck knows how hot he's running. So a guy rolls up, wants to race, they're going to get a little airflow before they go. Going to run 20, 30 mile an hour, maybe drop low. He'll know if he's capable of getting all his power because he's got gauges telling him everything. Timers here. Your best time, the current that you're running, last, you can save it. You got all your digital gauges right here. And this comes standard in a Hellcat. Good luck getting this kind of stuff in an M5. I mean, if you do, it's going to cost you a pretty penny to add this kind of stuff back in.
You'd be well over 140.
Yeah, you just everything. You got your boost right here, shows the RPM, speedometer, horsepower, and torque, what gear he's in. Like, SRT pages are the best performance pages I've ever seen. In fact, every time I get in an Explorer or Tahoe, even the ones that are like RST or whatnot, they have no performance pages, no launch control. I mean, I reviewed a Tahoe a while back, and I've also reviewed the GMC Yukon, and my wife's got an Explorer. My mom's got an Explorer EcoBoost. It's the sport top model, even the platinum. There's no pages for any of that stuff. Dodge gives you performance control over the vehicle.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable what Dodge is doing, because then their TA Challenger has something called Dodge Performance Control. It's not an SRT, but what did they do? They gave you SRT compatible stuff without the name. Since it's not an SRT, SRT would probably say, hey, we're not doing this car. Why are you putting SRT in it? So they did Dodge Performance Control. So they give you control over your vehicle every time. Like, there's just so much stuff that Dodge puts in their vehicles that that
nobody else thinks to do.
Yeah.
And I have noticed there's a lot of other companies that have started doing telemetry and G-forces and everything. Like, I think even that Kia Stinger, I think they copied a lot of stuff from Dodge. In fact, based upon the way I saw them put it together, it was like, yeah, they had G-forces up here. They had basics on telemetry, and then it also looked like they had copied a lot of Mercedes, like the new C-Class, E-Class, where it's got different colors to tell you different modes and everything.
Yep.
And they cobble it together. I had a lot of people attacking me, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, you shouldn't say that. It was designed by BMW. And I was like, well, listen, all I'm saying is that I like it as a car. It's just that it seemed very, very generic the way it was put together. It's still nice, though. I didn't say it wasn't nice. I thought it was nice.
Oh yeah,
but that's my only thing. It's like, yeah, you're giving your customers more, and that's all that matters to me. That you're giving your customers more bang for the buck.
Yeah, it matters to me too because, you know, you look at it, some people say, hey, you know, Corey, do you hate BMW? Or no, I don't, I had one. And you get an M5, you can get a brand new M5 right now, 550 horse, you get a JB4 Stage 2 piggyback tune, intake and exhaust, catless downpipe. It'll run 650, 675 all day. But now you're running 20 pounds of boost, 22 pounds of boost. We can up it to 700. You could probably get 700 out of an M5. Now what? Now what are you going to do? Now you're tapping the limits of possibly blowing the engine. You're making 700. My Hellcat came with the same 700. Now I can put a pulley, an intake, and a tune. Now I'm doing 900. You lose again. And the M5 is 100,000. The Hellcat 70. So I'm 30,000 less. And even with all those additions that you put in the car with the M5, you're now talking about 110, 120, $125,000 investment. Whereas me, I've got my Hellcat for 60 grand. I've only got 2 grand in it. I'll put 2 more at the pulley. I've got 65,000 wrapped in this car as of March. Or as of April or May, I mean, and I'll have 900 horsepower for 65K. And reliable with a warranty, sort of have a warranty, but I won't really need it because the engines are good. So there you go. You know, you save 30, 40,000 and have 200-300 more horsepower. So it's up to you. You buy whatever you want, but if you want the most power for the most affordable price with a warranty, Dodge is the only way for that, especially with big cars like sedans and SUVs. That's it. I mean, if you want a minivan, go to Chrysler and get the Pacifica.
Exactly.
I have a funny feeling they're going to put the 5.7 in that.
They're going to make a Pacifica Hellcat.
Yeah, oh my God. Can you imagine a 707 horsepower minivan?
Oh, yeah.
In the news. In the news today, a woman has crashed her Pacifica with her 2 children.
She picked her children up very fast.
Yeah, very fast.
Speeding in school zones.
What I would love to see, honestly, is a Chrysler 200. Now, I'm going to go realistic on this one. I'd like to see a Chrysler 200 with a 5.7 Hemi, just 360, 375, or maybe even run the 6.4 at 475 in a Chrysler 200. That would be really
turbocharged 6.
Or a turbocharged 6.
6, yeah.
But Dodge isn't really known for their V6s or for their turbos.
Yeah. Well, their V6, the Pentastar V6 is solid across all their cars.
That's what it was in, 295 horse or 297, something like that.
Yeah, but they, you know, put a turbos or maybe a supercharger on the 6 like Audi does with their, you know, their supercharged 3.0 whatever.
Yep.
You know, it's hard to get excited about those things because their regular cars really aren't that powerful. I drove the Q7. I wasn't that impressed and everything, but Dodge powers their thing, and they can keep attracting you.
Surprisingly, the one sedan besides the CTSV that can compete, and the one that I like the most, if I was going to go with another sedan, is the Alfa Romeo Giulia with the Quadrifoglio. That's not a bad sedan.
Yeah, for $80,000 or $90,000, it's not.
No, but you know what they should is if they could have priced the Giulia with the Quadrifoglio, if they could have got that down to say $54,995. Oh my God.
I think the Alfa Romeo's biggest problem is really the Charger, because it's basically the same technology. The exterior look is obviously it's obviously Italian, but when the Charger is there and you've got the Hellcat cheaper than a Quadrifoglio, and you can just get so much more out of it, it's a hard choice. But see that Quadrifoglio, it's nice. It is nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
It's nice.
It's like 505.
Good luck getting an American to put that kind of money into one. Like, you have to be an Alfa Romeo lover to go after something like that.
Yeah, no, they definitely have a winner there. And there was rumor had it. Now, this is from the rumor mill. A lot of people were saying, the new Durango in 2020 is actually going to have the Quadrifoglio 505. Incorrect. Dodge has already announced and leaked in my previous videos on my channel. You'll see that the 7.0 SRT engine is 100% coming. The 426 Hemi will be the new SRT engine. In 2005, they had a 425 horse 6.1. 2012 was a 6.4 with 485. And now, again, 7-8 years later, 7.0. That's going to be a 426 Hemi making about 550 to 575, probably closer to 575. So now, considering the Jeep is being discontinued as an SRT, only going to go on as a Trackhawk, the Durango is going to get the 575 horse 7.0, making the Durango the fastest SRT version of their SUV lineup. So that's exactly what Dodge wanted. But if you guys want to know about that, the 7.0, what do you think, man, about a 7.0 426 Hemi that's going to have 550, 575 horsepower?
I think your needs gaslight is going to be on a lot.
A lot. But you know what? This is America, and that's what we do. That's what we do. But yeah, that's what's happening, guys. 7.0 SRT engine. It's the 426 Hemi. It's going to be announced at the New York Auto Show or the Detroit Auto Show this time next year. There's going to be a lot more on it. And as of November of 19, going into the 2020, the Durango, the Charger, the Challenger, and the new TRX and the Ram 1500 is going to have it. I got a video going up tonight on my channel. I'm telling Big Truck about it. Maybe he'll talk about it too as well, that they got something really awesome coming on the 1500 Ram. You guys are going to be pretty excited about that. So hopefully he'll do a video on that for you guys as well.
Yeah, when the 1500, I'll definitely check that out.
Yeah.
At the auto show.
Yeah.
A couple of people already videoed, like Patrick Worrell.
Oh,
He's already videoed like a little bit. I think they're on the gag order until like the 19th or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're not allowed to talk about it.
Yeah, no, they can't. Nope. I even just got my pass for the New York Auto Show. They're just finalizing my pass this week.
Oh, you have the press pass?
I have a press pass for backstage. You have one?
No.
You want to get in with me?
Sure.
I'm going to email them right away then.
Oh, yeah, that would be perfect.
I got backstage press pass.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Be perfect.
Yeah, we'll go. I got to go out of town on the 3rd or 4th. So the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, first 3 days, we can light it up.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure if Dodge is going to announce something big, it's going to be the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd day. They're not going to wait till the end of the week.
Yeah,
to do that.
they usually do it in the middle. It's just like with the Trackhawk. They waited.
Yep.
They waited till like I think like close to the start, like 2 days earlier than the start to do their actual reveal. Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Me and Big Truck going to do it up at the New York Auto Show.
That'd be perfect.
See what's going on there. And maybe eventually, maybe I won't get the GT500. Maybe, just maybe, stars may align. I might get a Trackhawk. Maybe you will, and we'll have 2 Trackhawks.
We shall see.
We're going to see what happens. But yeah, it's been fun today. Big Truck driving my Charger Hellcat, and I drove his Jeep SRT, so it's been a fun day. I'm closing out on his channel. We're all going to be closing out on my channel when I get my other camera.
All right.
Going to hand it back to Big Truck so we can do his thing.
Okay, yeah, so tune in next time for something new. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something new.